Hello everyone, my name is Cathy English from the Revelstoke Museum and Archives. Today we're going to talk about school days a long time ago. The schools in Revelstoke, each teacher would have a bell, and they would ring the bell to let the children know that it was time to come back into class. Inside the classroom there would be one large blackboard at the front, and each child would have their own little chalkboard called a slate and chalk, so they could use that to write. So I'll write my name, although I'll write my full name, which is Catherine. And when I was starting school in grade 1 in 1962, we were told to write our full name. And my full name was Catherine Margaret Harrison. That was a lot of letters to write. But we weren't using chalk slate when I went to school. We were using paper then. But the children a long time ago, they would use chalk on their slates, and if they had paper, but there wasn't a lot of paper to go around. So if you were just doing like math exercises that you didn't need to keep, that was a good way to use the slate and then erase it, and then you could use it over again rather than using paper, which wasn't in big supply. When they did use paper, they would use either pencils or ink pens to write with. So all of the old desks used to have a hole in the front of the desk where the ink bottle would sit. And then to write, you would dip your pen into the ink bottle, and then you'd write with it like that. I don't have ink here today, so I'm not going to actually write, but I have written with this kind of pen. Although we didn't use them when I was going to school. We had pencils and ballpoint pens by then. This is an old school book, and this book is 125 years old. It was used by a girl named Edith Jowett, who lived in Trout Lake. And this is vertical writing is what it's called. And this is how she was learning how to write. And they were writing their letters straight up and down. You can see it, beautiful, beautiful handwriting. I've tried writing like that. I can't write as neatly as this little girl could. So this is very old, very precious book. This is a reader. So this is a book that the children would have had stories from, called Everyday Classics, Third Reader. And some of the stories in there are ones that you would recognize. But this book is over 100 years old. And one of the stories in here is Cinderella. There's one called The Milkmaid and Her Pail, The Owl and the Pussycat. That's a poem that I know. So there's all different stories in here. So that's a book that they would have used to learn how to read. And this is called a drill book. This is something that they would have used in their PE classes. And they would have used it, like they would do different formations. And there are different exercises that they would learn how to do. Then sometimes they'd perform that for their parents at their school pageants. So there's a little bit about what school was like a long time ago. Thanks for joining us today.